All right, we're going to start with The Nation. Twist in Benani Fintiri governorship results crisis. Nigeria okays malaria vaccine for children below 3 years. Whoop, whoop. Battle in Immigration Service over planned extension of CG's tenure. National Stadium, the hard facts. $2.8 billion AKK pipeline, 43% ready, says federal government. And court orders suspended LP chair, others to file defense. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, let me start with the Nigeria okays malaria vaccine for children below 3 years. They said children under 3 years can now be immunized for malaria. NAFDAC yesterday okayed the provisional use of anti-malaria vaccine. And so it means that the vaccine is called the R21 vaccine by Serum Institute in India. A committee had been set up to, vet it, and they said it had met the safety and efficacy criteria, and so it has been, authorized to be used. It says 75%. It is 75% effective in protecting against malaria, and that makes Nigeria it makes us the second country in Africa to approve the use of a vaccine for malaria. Ghana is the first. Other countries are still going through their process of, vetting this, and it looks like it's good news. People, some other countries who are still using it are testing the trials. They said that it's shown like 80%, efficacy. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But this is an Indian, for what I get it's from India. I remember one of the very few guests that when I joined the show, that we spoke to, and she happens to be Gbadebo Vivor's wife. She had come on the show. She was researching, she was part of a team researching this malaria vaccine, and I'm wondering if she's in some way involved or if we're doing something Nigeria-specific.
With Dr. Gemma?
Yeah.
Really? On the show?
She's not Ijoma.
Oh, no. Okay.
I forgot her first name.
All right. Let me take the major headlines. So, continued drama about the Adamawa state elections, governorship elections. Senator Aisha Benani approached the High Court in Abuja to stop INEC from voiding her declaration as winner by the resident electoral commissioner, Hudu Yunusa Ari. If you recall, he had illegally announced results while collation was still ongoing. INEC has resumed collation of results in Abuja. Supporters of the governor of Ahmadu Fintiri of the PDP have continued to fire salvos to the Electoral Commission, and they are hoping that the announcement should be made today from Yola. Also, the returning officer, nobody knows where he is. I think it's Professor Mohammed. They're yet to know exactly what his location is, but they were all summoned to Abuja, if you recall. And also to support Governor Fintiri, governor of Oyo State, has also gone to Yola to also protest the wrong confirmation of Benani as governor-elect. Governor Shemigani stormed Yola to give solidarity with Fintiri, who was protesting Sunday's result, saying that the REC should be totally removed and displaced from INEC, and it doesn't deserve to be part of this democratic process. A lot of it happened. There's been a lot of responses left, right, and center.
What surprised, because I read that story as well. What surprised me was that they said he went to announce that she won after only 10 local governments had been collated, you know? 10 local governments, and they have 21. Can you imagine?
Yes.
You know,
that he was suspended immediately, and they stopped collation and summoned all of them to Abuja. So I'm hoping that the collation is ongoing right now in Abuja and in Yola, actually, and they're hoping that by today we'll get an announcement of the right winner of that election.
So I wanted to take the aviation story. The aviation workers shut down the nation's airports yesterday. They left thousands of people without any means. The airports, Murtala Mohammed.
Even international flights?
No, they said international flights were unhindered. So I think it was just local flights. Abuja, Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, sorry, Port Harcourt, Kano, Kaduna. I want to say it like you, Kaduna, Benin, Uyo, Enugu, Owerri were all shut down. Thousands of workers, they blocked, especially in Lagos, they blocked, so you couldn't even get to the airport.
Yeah.
They said people who had traveled 6 a.m., who had gotten to the airport at 6, managed to fly. But after that, a lot of the passengers were complaining that what is their own now? With all the suffering that they're suffering, they don't now align them to fly. So, of course, so there was this John Thompson who was visibly angry. He said, every time there is an issue and they decide to go on strike, it is passengers who have absolutely no business that suffer. And the aviation minister has said he has appealed to them to please sheathe their swords, but he will not tolerate any breakdown of law and order at the airport. They had given this warning last week. Isn't that the time that the government should have called them and said, come, don't strike? Because this is just very disruptive.
Okay. So I want to take the story about the Energy Summit report. The Secretary to the Federal Government, Boss Mustafa, has directed that the Ministry of Petroleum Resources Permanent Secretary, Ambassador Gabriel Tanimu Abdabu, was to forward it's a comprehensive report that the Nigerian Petroleum Energy Summit 2023 report should be forwarded to the Presidential Transition Committee. And he also emphasized that everything regarding the energy sector, a lot of work has been done by this current administration, and they want to ensure that the next administration under the President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be able to start their work seamlessly. So this report should just go into that transition committee. Then he highlighted some of the things that the current administration has done within the energy sector, talking about how they have already done 43% of the AKK, that's Ajaokuta Kaduna Kano natural gas pipeline project, and they have already disbursed about $2.8 billion project, and if it's 43% completed, it will be supplying natural gas to a lot of the industries that need gas within that Ajaokuta Kaduna Kano benchmark area, and they are hoping that the new administration will build upon all the good work, several other good work that they have done within the energy sector.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to The Punch. Fuel subsidy, FG begins 40% pay rise for workers, April ending. Striking aviation workers reject government's plea, threatens shutdown. Ogun woman sells 18-month-old baby to repay her loan. Two parties challenge Makinde's election. Tribunal orders service on Sanwo-Olu. Marginal oil fields sale generated 203 billion naira, says Buhari. PDP governors demand Adamawa Rex trial. Binani sues INEC. External reserves slide further to $35 billion. Let me take the major headlines. So, the Director of Press and Public Relations of the Ministry of Labour and Employment, Mr. Lajide Oshundon, was speaking, saying that the federal government will be paying 40% pay rise by the end of April, and they'll also be paying the arrears January, February, March, also with the April payments. According to him, last month, the Labour Minister of Labour himself, Chris Ngige, had said that the federal government has approved the pay rise for civil servants, and that payments will start from January. They said that all payments will be received by the end of this month. However, the vice president of the of TUC, that's the teachers union, the trade union actually of Trade Union Congress, was saying yesterday specifically that we shouldn't make this look like a pay rise. According to him, he believes it's actually an increase in allowance and just the basic salary. So we shouldn't assume that this 40% is a full basic, is a complete salary increase, and is purely an allowance. However, but the PRO for the Nigerian Labour of the Ministry of Labour is insisting that this is actually a pay rise. So we'll wait for that, because that's why they think it's because of the subsidy removal that is coming soon. That's why the federal government is increasing allowance, according to the TUC vice chair. But he is saying that the reason why the federal government did increase pay salary was because of the rise in inflation, cost of food, just to help to provide a buffer for the current economic situations for civil servants in the country.
Yeah, I was going to take the Ogun woman that sold her 18-month-old baby to repay her loan. She's a 33-year-old woman. from the Ado-Odo Ota local government area of Ogun State. She left her house, reportedly for Lagos, with the baby. When she came back, some days later, she came without the baby. The husband now asked her that, where is the baby? No answer. Where is the baby? So he now carried himself to the police, that they should come and help him ask her where the baby is. After some interrogation, she now confessed that she sold the baby to a lady. Somebody had introduced her to the lady who would take the baby for 600,000 naira. That she had a bank loan, microfinance, and they had been disturbing her and telling her, so she thought the solution was to sell her baby.
18 months.
It's a very, very sad story. Very, very sad story.
I know.
Because now, even when they get the baby back, if they get the baby back, she will be in jail.
No, she has to be.
Oh.
So and then I hope it means that we find this group of people that buy babies. Because that's...
It's
like,
such
who are
a
you? What are you
sad
buying
story.
a baby for?
Poor baby.
Buying a child.
The baby has known as...
That's your mother that has betrayed you. That's the
Honestly.
end.
Honestly.
Anyway, yes, our president on Monday was saying that under his watch, the federal government has been able to make a total of 203 billion naira from the sale of petroleum prospecting licenses to 161 firms in its last marginal fields bid round. So as we know, marginal fields are smaller oil wells situated onshore or in shallow waters, and they're usually developed by local companies. And he says that, 10 months after the president has signed the Petroleum Industry Act, they've been able to have sold these licenses and made money. He said that his regime has also created a conducive environment for businesses to thrive. My administration took the issue of ease of doing business very serious, and we created a conducive environment for business. So I like this. He says, if you don't have to take my word for it, but many of the biggest businesses that came on stream in the lifetime of my administration are backing up this fact. And he goes ahead, and reveals all other things that he's done in that sector.
Yet within the same space, the external reserve continues to slide lower. They said in the past 2 weeks, the external reserve, Nigeria's external reserve, has fallen by $112 million. And now it is currently $35.42 billion. And that's figure obtained from the central bank. They said that it has continued to fall from the end of January, and they recorded the prices up until when the last monetary policy held in March. And they believe that the FX liquidity issue will remain over the short to medium term, as there's no, according to them, they say, we do not see any positive signal that denotes any improvement in the FX in the FX supply relative to the pre-pandemic levels. So since 2020, there's been a major decline in foreign reserve, and there's increasing demand in our need for FX. So, and according to what they're saying, there's no seeming solution to the FX challenges that Nigeria is currently facing.
The Daily Sun, aviation strike, passengers stranded, airlines suffer losses. INEC hammer falls on wreck over Adamawa group results mess. Osinbajo warns against ethnic religious profiling in politics. Kidnapper buries 3-year-old boy alive after collecting ransom in Katsina. Election Petition Tribunal strikes out case against Kalu. Stop premeditated injustice against Igbo, says Archbishop Onoaga. Okay, let me start with our Vice President. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has warned Nigerians to shun ethnic, religious, and sectional profilings and to build a homeland where democracy and development can thrive. He was saying this during a lecture in Plateau State. He was there yesterday. The lecture was creating a homeland for all, nation building in a diverse democracy. And he stressed that the idea of weaponizing ethnicity and religion by certain individuals to achieve personal political gains is very, very wrong. And he also said that when ethnic or religious prejudices are weaponized for political purpose, we are confronted with lethal potential destructive situation. Elections by their own very nature tend to be divisive affairs. So he has warned that we must remove politics, remove ethnicity and religious bigotry from politics.
Yeah, I was going to take the kidnapper that buried a 3-year-old boy alive. His name is a 30-year-old man. Apparently, he went into the house and kidnapped the child when the father was asleep. And then he started calling, and then he dropped a letter, sorry. He dropped a letter and asked the father to pay 800,000. The father negotiated to 150,000. When he paid it, he didn't return the child. Anyway, the police now found the guy, and he now confessed that he had buried the boy alive. Very, very sad story.
His name is Abubakar Abdulaziz. He got paid 150,000 naira to collect as a ransom, and yet did not release the boy. Thankfully, the police has arrested him. They said the investigation is still ongoing, but it's such inhuman behavior. Like, who kidnaps a 3-year-old boy and then you now still kill him?
And you kill him. I mean, it's the
this kidnapper, was he known to the family?
In human way that he did it.
Yeah, they said they are investigating, but he was able to get into the house while they were sleeping and carried the baby. So
is he maybe someone that's known? So maybe even the neighbors saw him, they wouldn't have thought anything.
They didn't say whether he was a neighbor's son or anything.
Any other story, son? Moving on.
Horrified to read that story.
Vanguard.
Actually.
Honestly.
INEC bars suspended BREC to announce results on Thursday. Crisis NLC storms Labour Party National Secretariat. NAFDAC gives regulatory approval to R21 malaria vaccine. 2 aides killed, 3 policemen hospitalized as kidnappers abduct SAN in Rivers. Gridlock fight disruptions as aviation unions begin 2-day warning strike. How Atiku Obi Kwakanso helped Tinubu's victory. Government probes biotech firms disposing toxic waste into River Benue. Lagos Port Tribunal orders substituted service on Sanwo-Olu.
Yeah, so I have in Benue State, the governor of Benue State has set up an investigative panel after a video that had gone viral showing a company, a biotech company, they say, with a plant on the Makadi-Boko Road that releases its waste through their drainage, and the waste goes straight into the river. And this is river that a lot of people access to drink, and also, of course, threats to aquatic life. And the governor had seen the video, set up the panel. He said he would have shut the company immediately, but it's good to investigate. So they'll investigate and find out, what the waste is actually and the threats to human life and aquatic life. And also because of that, there is another company a factory that's located in the Zaki Biam area that would be investigated as well. So it's just good, that our leaders understand the importance of protecting our environment. And he also commended the people that raised the alarm when they saw it. So
okay, I was going to take the story of the River State son that was kidnapped. He had police in a car ahead of him, and then he had his driver and his security. They shot the police car tire, and that one now, because maybe they were speeding, overturned, and the policemen were injured. Then he now killed the driver and they killed the driver and the aide and kidnapped him. So they're looking for him. The police are looking for.
Is there any other story that is
his son?
Very quick story.
Vanguard.
Oxfam is advising the new incoming administration to prioritize education, health and agriculture, saying that they should put 15% of the budget into health and put 10% of the budget into agriculture. They have other list of why they are making this suggestion, but they feel like the need would only be captured if we are putting 15% to health and 10% to agriculture.
I know time is over, but this is an important story. It's in the Vanguard. And we remember the story of the Ondo, the man that was mobbed and killed by the mob because he had, run into a group of people and had killed one person and injured the other. So they've arrested some suspects, and they're interviewing them on why they did what they did. One said, I came and I found that he was already beaten and he was lying in the pool of his blood. But because I was moved by the sight of the accident, I took a stone and I hit him. and then he held onto my leg. He said, this person said he did not realize it was his friend's younger brother that he threw a stone at. He said this victim held onto his leg, and because he didn't want to be dragged alongside the body, he choked. But I just want to say, you don't know. This person could be your family member. He hit his friend's younger brother. Anyway, there are so many of them in custody now, and the police say they're going to charge them for murder and also arson because they burnt the car. You just never know.
Very sad.
That's all we can
full of
take
sad stories.
on Front Page Review.
Stay tuned.